It's my pleasure to introduce my colleague and good friend, Ben Henry.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Let me hear you Huskies bark. All right. Who here is fed up with funding the state on the backs of students? Let me hear you bark. Who here is terrified of degree program closures, fewer library writing center hours, bigger class sizes? Let me hear you bark. Who here cannot wait to show up to your 700 student Biology 101 class? Let me hear you bark! Who will stand with us and demand that the state will not mortgage our future on the backs of students? Who will stand here with us and demand that the legislature makes higher education a priority? Let me hear you bark! Now, there are some out there, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are some out there who say that students don't care about their education. There are some who say that students care more about their Xboxes and their iPhones than they do about their futures. There are those who say that students are too apathetic and too distracted from playing zombies versus humans to notice that the legislature will be filling the budget shortfall on the backs of students and tuition dollars. What do we think about that? Huskies bark! Woo! Who here cares about budget cuts? Woo! Do Huskies care about our future? Yeah! So today, this session, we are at a crossroads. There are models, there are bills out there that dramatically increase tuition, dramatically cut our budgets. And the question I want to ask is, where's the financial aid? Do we know where that is? Because I can't seem to find it. I've been looking everywhere. You guys are working hard. We're out here working hard, pounding the pavement, talking to legislators, making our case. And your presence here means a lot to that process. Keep telling your stories. Keep explaining, how these cuts are impacting you. And the legislatures will hear that message. So keep doing what you're doing. One more time. Let me hear you bark! Woo! All right. So I want to introduce next Courtney Acitelli.
Right here. This is an exciting microphone situation here. I'm glad to be here. I am Courtney Acitelli. I am the director of UW Impact. It is the new civic advocacy organization for UW alumni, run by the Alumni Association, and we're getting involved now, right? This is our time to get involved. It's an unprecedented move. The Alumni Association has never asked its alumni to get involved in an organized way for legislative advocacy on behalf of the UW, but we're doing it now. And we don't think that this model is going to be sustainable. We don't think that this model is going to preserve the University of Washington as we know it for future generations. It's going to be very, very different. We're going to see a very different university if these budget cuts go through. So we're organizing, we're getting louder. This legislative session, I don't know how much we're going to be able to do with just another few months. We're going to try, but this is a longitudinal effort. This isn't just about this legislative session. This is about preserving the University of Washington from now on, and we're going to do it. You will be alum someday. You're going to join UW Impact. I'll see you there. I'm looking. You guys know I know a lot of you in this audience. I'm going to find you. The Alumni Association is very proud to be starting this effort in this state. You'll hear about WSU Impact, Western Washington University Impact. They're starting their own impact organizations. A rising tide is going to float all ships when it comes to higher ed cuts. None of us are going to accept it, and we're here to tell you that today for sure. And I have an anecdote for you. Like Ben Henry said, he's not going to use any names, but this is about, I'm not going to either. This is about a state senator that one of our political consultants spoke with when we first started UW Impact. He said, the University of Washington alumni are organizing, and you should know that this is happening. And the senator said, oh, well, that's interesting, because, when we've created legislation that threatened higher education, or that threatened K through 12, we heard from parents, and we heard from teachers, and we heard from constituents in our districts that didn't want that cut. And when we said that we were going to cut funding for healthcare, we heard from healthcare advocates, and we heard from disability advocates. But when we've been cutting the UW for the last 5 years, I have not received one phone call from an alum saying protect the University of Washington. Not one. So, Senator, if you're listening, I'm here to say you will. Thank you. Alright, how are all my Huskies doing today? Alright everyone, I'm Allie Malloy, I'm a junior, and I'm the Vice President of the Associated Students of the University of Washington, Tacoma. I've been at UW for 3 years now, and this is my second lobby day, and I'm so glad to be back here with you guys. Right. Since I've been here, I've seen tuition increases right before my eyes. As it stands upon graduation, I'll be $60,000 in debt. Since I do not qualify for financial aid, I'm forced to take out loans, but I continue each year to make an effort to lobby on mine and similar students' behalf. As the tuition increases unfold exponentially and unpredictably, the fact remains that the decisions were made by the state. We as students need to stand together and ask for support from our friends, our family, and alumni, urging them to write to state so that the tuition setting authority remains vested in the power of the people. We have all seen what the disinvestment from the state in funding higher education has done to the quality of classes we take. Whereas we were once in smaller classes, now we're more often than not seated without desks with our laptops in our laps. The days of essay exams have become a thing of the past, as professors are forced, due to the lack of work-study teaching assistants, to administer multiple choice exams. We all know how much we hate multiple choice exams. While these are inevitable consequences of the budget reductions, the fact remains that the investment in higher education has been on a continual decline for the past 3 decades. Many see this economic crisis as an opportunity. The state seems to view this as an excuse. Investing in higher education is the one proven, tried, and true way to climb out of these recessionary times. Many view higher education as a privilege, but the reality is, in today's job market, it's not only beneficial, it's required. I urge you all to continue letting your voice be heard as we stand together, united as Huskies, opposed to any further cuts to higher education and financial aid. So just remember, go purple and be gold.